All right, so picking up from where we left here, we are going to try a few other things. So first of all, what we're going to see is like till now we have seen that okay, we're using a database and SQLite database, and we are actually generating data. And let's see if we can somehow break this. So our initial claim was that if we use date and if we use time, then it's not going to let us, add any other kind of data anywhere. So let's try and break this. So um, I'll I'll actually open the flight factory. All right, and as you can see, for example, like we will start with date. So instead of using this departure date, or maybe because that's going to be a bit of a slightly bigger change, we're just going to go with departure time. So it should really just save the time, but if we try to give it something else, which is not a problem in a factory, okay, so we can maybe just try to add a name, right? So how about trying to add a name, or if somebody in future when they're using our app, they're going to try and use our use save a name or something else, if the input is free form. So if they want to put something else in the time column, what is going to happen? So we'll go back to Tinkerbell again, and we have this setup from the last video, if you remember, where we have the artisan facade imported, and we have artisan called migrate fresh. So this is going to refresh the migrations, and then it's going to create 10 records. So we'll just take out the count so that we can just see everything here, and we're going to run this again, and this is going to, okay, so this has cleared the database and it has now created the data. Now if we look at it, the abbreviation and everything looks good, and the departure date is fine, and departure time, and it's giving us the name. So it's saving name in a time column, right? So we have this time column here, but it's saving a name. And the answer is pretty simple. The problem actually lies in us using SQLite. So what SQLite actually does is it just saves it as a string, and no matter what you give it. So all these checks that we have added so far, they're probably not going to work as long as we're using SQLite. So we'll quickly change that so that going forward, anything that we are doing, it actually works. We'll just do this, and db host and 3306 Laravel and root. So let's see how that's going to pan out. We'll start MySQL locally, and we'll also start Redis while we're at it. Um, yeah, so if we run the migrations now, with any luck, things should work. But there is one problem still, and that is we don't probably have this database. So because we have multiple other applications where this might be the name of the database, we'll just add a new one, and I will call it. Will not probably not call it migrations. That might not go very well. So we'll say snk Laravel. So we'll just pick this up from here and save it. You can give it any name really, and what we're going to do. What I like about um, this tool is like it actually can open directly in Table Plus from here. So I think we have this open, and what we're going to do is we're going to check how if we have we're going to create a new database by that name. So we are going to create let's send it back, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say snk Laravel. I had that copied, and I'll just leave the default coding and collation here. You can actually control it on the table level, and it's mentioned in the documentation, so you can go and check. So yeah, let's create that, and I think we should be good. So let's just open this actually, and right now we see there's nothing here, and we'll just run PHP artisan optimize clear, maybe, just to be 100% sure. Okay, since we're using yeah, since we're using the cache store as database, this is going to be a problem. Whenever we run migrations, this is going to bug us, so I'll just quickly change it to Redis. Let's see. Yep, let's change it to Redis. And that might come with its own problems, but we'll see. Okay, so we'll run this, and this should start working again. And let's see, PHP artisan migrate fresh, and that should now run the migrations. All right, so database file at path does not exist. Ensure that there's an okay, nice. I think what we are missing is we were not only supposed to we were not just supposed to uncomment it, we were actually supposed to replace it with MySQL. So that's the problem, and so we'll run it once more, and we'll run the migration. Then this time around it should work as expected. Okay, so recording a video is a lot like maybe the next most difficult thing to coding live. So but anyways, so once we come here and we've done this, and now let's see if we can do it. If we go back to Tinkerwell, we are going to check if it's still going to do the same thing, and it's going to create the in the departure time, it is still going to add the name as we have in the factory. So yeah, so it says invalid datetime format, incorrect datetime value, this in the departure time column. So we need to fix this, and so it has finally started to check it, and on the database level, and we need to undo this change and fix time, and let's see if now everything is working as expected, and it is. So so remember, once you're using SQLite, and that's why I normally say, I mean, if it is something like a really basic project, you should probably use SQLite, but otherwise you should always default to MySQL. So yeah, there you go. So now you have everything in order, and if you go to the database, and it's easier to refresh as well. Yeah, that pain is also gone. That's good. So we have everything here, and let's actually do this closer to reality thing here on this one, and let's make this. Let's also let's say abbreviation, and we are going to bring it here, and abbreviation, and what we're going to do is we want to capitalize it. So we are going to probably use the str and str to upper, and I think this should work with some luck. So if we go back here and we try to run this again, I think this should now give us the abbreviations in upper. So I think we are pretty close here. We're pretty close here. This is the reason that you should use MySQL, and that actually gives you a lot of that actually makes sure that your columns are actually adhering to the types that you are selecting. So once we're done with this, let's play a little more with the time and dates. So let's say we will stay in this, and until we shift to relationships, we are going to kind of try and use the same table. And so year, and so we can maybe say airline, or let's say plane make year or something like that. Okay, I'm just trying to have an idea. So so this is like the plane make year is going to be the year, and you can still change it. So So speaking of forward migrations, when you're actually developing and you haven't pushed the product to production and there are no actual real users using it, you actually can simply add migrations to the same table and just run a migrate fresh, and that should do it for you. So we can actually, now this is not nullable, right? So this, once this is, because this is not nullable, I think this is going to give us an error that we need a year. Okay, so plain make year doesn't have a default value. So again, I mean, we don't want to set a default value, but we definitely want to make it nullable. We always might not know the plain make year. So that's for the year, and we have a few options with time zone as well. So what we can do is we can actually add table, and we can say timestamp tz, and that would actually give you a timestamp with time zone. Okay, so you can actually say, let's see, added at, so where the flight was when the flight was added. Okay, so you can actually um, you can actually add timestamp with time zone here, and that's you can also specify the precision here, precision 0. Okay, so yeah, but I think this should be fine. If you add something like this is going to, again, and we can make it nullable, but we can, let's add the year and the timestamp with time zone in the factory. Let's see if Faker has something, plain make year. Okay, date time this month. Okay, so this is going to use date time this month, which is actually a helper method that we've already used before, that actually is a Faker method, and that actually gives you the date and time for the current for within a month, like not really current month but within a month. But let's see if it has an equivalent in date time time zone. Let's see if this works, right? So let's come back here and let's try to run this and see. I think this doesn't exist. So again, I think let's not get into this, and let's try to do date time this month and see what happens, right? So added that, so we'll just use date time this month and then just run the factory again. And as you can see, this has actually populated it, and this is how it looks. So if you refresh this, you'll see added at, and this actually looks like a standard like timestamp. But if you come over here, it is actually showing you that it is basically a datetime object, and it is also giving you the time zone with it. So so I don't think this is used very frequently. Normally you just use the in Laravel you use just the app time zone. So if you want to use a particular time zone using which it should save things in the database, what you need to do is you can actually specify the app time zone here, and you can specify it as UDC, etc. So yeah, so that's like probably not used much. So I think that's pretty much that. And in this video we covered that why we need to use MySQL, and why we should not use SQLite for even slightly larger projects, and and then we covered year and timestamp time zone. So in the next videos we will cover other stuff and some other tips and tricks, but I just wanted to cover this to make sure that we are not we like our expectations are correct, and these validations implemented on the database level.